As for the delay, apparently there is a monstrous amount of traffic outside due to the fact that we have a really amazing basketball team here at UConn. So it's for a great reason. But that said, if people trickle in, just keep in mind that's the reason why. So we are going to move forward with the event, and we hope you have a good time. So welcome everyone, current members, alumni, family, friends, and honored guests to the University of Connecticut's Eastern European Conference, co-hosted by both the Albanian Student Association and the Polish Cultural Society. My name is Priscilla Karaja. I'm a senior double majoring in English and Spanish, and I'm the current president of the Albanian Student Association.
Everyone just please give it up for Priscilla. She's an amazing leader. I've learned so much from her. My name is Celine St. Pierre. I'm a senior majoring in communication design, and I'm the proud president of Polish Cultural Society. Thank you for coming to our event. The Eastern European Conference is in fact an amalgamation of two former events: the Polish Festival, held on campus at the end of every spring semester, and the annual Albanian Conference, usually held off campus once every academic year. This year, instead of working as two separate events, we are collaborating to showcase the work of both organizations to spread awareness about respective cultures and share responsibilities of planning in hopes of garnering greater interest from the UConn community at large. We thank you for your attendance, and we sincerely hope that you can turn this into an annual tradition. This evening, we will be partaking in Polish and Albanian style foods, as you already know, and I'm sure enjoying right now. We will be hearing the music of both cultures, be celebrating the accomplishments of both of our organizations, and we'll be hearing remarks from our speakers. Speaking for the Polish Cultural Society, we first have Adrian Baron, president of the Polonia Business Association and partner at the law firm of Podorowski, Thompson & Baron. Michael Dvara, an alumni of our club, 2002 graduate of UConn School of Engineering, manufacturing engineer at Kaplan Specialty Bearings and Engineered Products, as well as director of programs and development at the Polish National Home. Darek Wojciechowski is founder and managing editor of White Eagle Media, as well as the Polish language newspaper Białe Orzeł. Thank you for coming.
And speaking on behalf of the Albanian Student Association, we have a representative from the Pan-Albanian Association of America, VATRA. We have the Educational Foundation Chair, Mr. Mika Gashi, in attendance. Mr. Gashi, if you could wave. Thank you. We also have a former ASA alumnus and a current law student at New England Law, Esmeralda Bardolari. Esmeralda. She will be speaking about her ideas for starting up various philanthropic organizations in Albania itself. Additionally, throughout the night, we'll be hearing the musical expertise of DJ Gazim Bulut over here to my right. So I'm going to give it up for DJ Gazim. So before we move on for the evening, we would like to tell you a little bit about each of our respective organizations.
Hello everyone. I've been president of Polish Cultural Society for the last year, but I've been a 4-year member, and the club has changed every single year, but one thing has stayed the same: friendship. This is our new logo, designed by our event coordinator, Agata. Agata has been an amazing friend, as well as leader in this organization. All of our members have. I'm incredibly proud of them. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. What are we? We encourage and celebrate Polish language and culture. Meetings, we hold movie nights, world fests, socials. We try and live and experience our culture as much as possible. We even did a Polish Jeopardy game this year. I'm going to show you a bunch of pictures because I believe in essence they can speak for themselves. One thing I want say that's really important about our organization is not only spreading awareness of Polish culture, but tying it in with the members as well as their friends. So not everybody, obviously, in our organization is Polish, but the friends of our members join and they learn about our culture. They learn about what we do. They learn about our traditions and heritage. A lot of people came up to me before our Punchki fundraiser and said, I never knew what Punchki was before, what Punchki were. So we got a shout out in the Yukon Daily Digest because of that. And people know our club is prominent and that we're active and that we care. And that's the best thing about us. And that's the thing that I'm most proud of, is that I've had so many active members really step up this year. And in all honesty, I really consider the people in our club to be family. We're really close friends. We're on the same wavelength. We understand a lot of where we come from. Each year we try and learn a new traditional dance. This year at World Fest we participated in Cracovia. And although people change every year, and it's sad to see them go, new people come in, and it's something new and special every year. We celebrated the Independence Day of Poland with Polish Jeopardy Night. And I'm most proud of our club participating in Huskython, where we raised over $800 for Connecticut Children's Medical Center. I want to stress that it's not about the money, it's about the time. The most expensive thing we have right now is time, and we're spending it with each other. We spent 18 hours dancing. We didn't just give money and leave. We danced and almost died and fell asleep for a better cause, for something that was bigger than ourselves. And it was the first time our club participated. And I'm incredibly proud of that, because in previous years we didn't think we could do it. There were so many obstacles, people didn't have enough money, yada yada. But people put excuses aside, and they said, I'm on board. I'm part of this team, and I'm gonna be here. And there wasn't really a plan as to how we were gonna run the money, raise the money. But we organized fundraisers for this entire year. So like Princip Polo candy bars, Punchki, tabling, spending time. A lot of time was spent in this, and that's what I'm most appreciative, because time shows that you care. It shows that we're trying to do something more than for just ourselves. And of course, Albanian Student Association participated as well, and we had a great time dancing. We had a great time doing something together. And in all honesty, I consider members of Albanian Student Association to be my friends just as much as members of my own club. Every year is a struggle to gather interest about Polish heritage and culture. Not everyone has the time commitment, but at the end of the day, every little bit helps. And presence is what matters. So even if we had members that couldn't come to the meetings, they showed up for the events. They helped us perform. They helped us set up. And I think it's a pretty good looking team. Last year we had a Polish festival. And a lot of the members who came weren't just Polish Cultural Society members, but ASA members showing support as well. So I just want to reiterate how important this union is, and just what it means for the future of our two clubs, bringing more people in to learn about Polish people, Albanian people. Last year at World Fest, foosball, and family dinners. I feel like there's a real sense of community with my club. We're not trying so much as we're doing. We're trying to be an example for Polonia. And at the stage for Huskython, representing Polska, and I believe ASA had their flag as well. This is our Polish Jeopardy night. So, we're trying to do the best that we can. But I also know that I'm very proud of what we've done and how far we've come. Thank you.
Thank you, Celine. Thank you, everyone. I would also just like to make a few brief remarks about the ASA, because we do have both ASA members but non-ASA members in attendance. So interactions among all students, Albanian or otherwise, within the Yukon community and beyond, in an effort to celebrate, share, and learn about the Albanian culture as well as other cultures. So I do want to stress that it's not just about the Albanian aspect, but about understanding cultures in general, and that's why I'm very proud that we have members who are not necessarily Albanian, who feel very comfortable coming to meetings, and I'm incredibly proud of that. And I'm also incredibly proud of, as Celine said, our partnership with PCS. This partnership started last year at around this time at World Fest. Celine approached our group, and she started everything. She started coming to our meetings, and then we reciprocated. So it's really amazing that we're able to have this event this year. I know in past years our conferences or the festivals have perhaps had a different feel to them, but I'm incredibly proud to see so many people in the audience today and talking to each other and interacting. So about ASA history, we were founded in 2003 by Reddy Kelmendi and Vesnik Bayrami. And from 2003 to 2005, we had a few transitional years. And 2005 is the year that we became USG official, and that's like our official birth date. So we're officially in our 9th year here at UConn. Again, very similar to PCS, we focus a lot on group bonding. We are at heart a social organization, so we do things like beach days during the summer. We started kind of like a Big Bro, Big Sis program. Shout out to my little sis Ella over there. We paint the rock by North Garage, and we had family dinners just like the PCS does. So for instance, this was our family dinner after one of our first meetings this September. We painted the rock in September as well. That was a lot of fun. In terms of other types of group bonding, we have on-campus social mixers, off-campus themed social mixers with Albanian music, which DJ Gazim is usually kind enough to provide his services for. We also do volleyball games, racquetball, basketball games. So this is an example of like some of our Albanian off-campus social mixers. That's Hammett and Ella and Alma at racquetball. When we tried that, that was a one-time try, but it was well done. We also just went to our first basketball game together, and people in the back are incidentally not ASA members, but they love us just the same, apparently. So we do other things like ice skating, Secret Santa. Here is our Secret Santa this year, our exchange. Everyone was apparently very excited about their gifts. We went ice skating too, and we had some Polish people in attendance. Thank you, Celine. Some people were really good at it. I was hugging the wall the whole time. We also do oozball every year, just like the PCS. And in addition to being a social organization, being a part of any organization involves a significant amount of leadership development. Here at ASA, that happens with learning how to mediate between being someone's friend and also kind of being more in charge. And I think that's something that all of our officers and our exec board members have done a really fine job of this year. USG paperwork in particular, shout out to USG, thank you for helping us out with everything. But the paperwork in particular can be very, definitely a challenge to complete at times, and Irini, our treasurer, has done an amazing job of that this year, so thank you to Irini for that. And just learning how to be a leader at weekly meetings, time management, that's something at this last meeting that I learned that I need to work on, so you learn something new every time, and our upcoming leadership activity is we're all participating in the 4 Arrows Challenge course on the 19th of April. So Priscilla will be out in the wild trying to like find her way around. Everyone beware. That'll be very, that'll be interesting at least. So we also have professional networking and those types of events. We've tried to have better relations, not better, but more substantial relations with our alumni this year. We started an alumni mentoring program, which we're still in the throes of developing. So we had the alumni come on October 26th, and they just kind of told us about the jobs that they had, gave us some advice, and we're hoping to continue that. We've had this year a correspondence with a Peace Corps member who's currently stationed in Belch, Albania, and she emails me every couple of days and lets me know how she is and how she's doing. So she came and talked to everyone just a like about a month ago, so that was a very good experience for all of our members to get to speak with somebody who is going to be doing something so incredible and dedicating her time for 2 years to Albania through the Peace Corps. We also had a medical and dental school Q&A session where we had 2 alumni come back and basically tell all of our members, many of which incidentally happen to be interested in medical or dental school, about the process of doing that. And I think that was one of the most informational days for our members. And the great thing that I like about ASA is that we're sharing opportunities with each other. I think a lot of our members just came back from an orientation in New Jersey to learn about how they'll be teaching in Turkey this summer. One person found out about it, they told their friends, they told each other, and they're just sharing and learning how to share opportunities with each other. So this is us with Olivia Graeta in the middle. She's the Peace Corps representative. And these were just our little handouts for our alumni days and med school panels. And this is us during our alumni day. We also have cultural events, the Involvement Fair, World Fest, and we're currently in the process of getting traditional costumes. So that's the Involvement Fair. And then World Fest this year was definitely a success. Thank you to Vanessa and Blurta for choreographing. And then finally, what I'm most proud of this year, just to reiterate just what Celine said, I'm very proud of ASA's involvement in Huskython and other philanthropy-related events. So every year we give an annual scholarship. We're continuing to sponsor a child in Albania, Miranda, who is age 11 right now, through the philanthropic organization World Vision. We also played volley for Syria. We participated in a children's festival. Every year we participate in the pharmacy fun run in remembrance of a pharmacy student who unfortunately passed away. Again, Huskython this year was kind of that big cornerstone thing that proved to us that we could participate in something major that is a UConn event. And for those of you who might still be ambiguous as to what Huskython is, it's an 18-hour dance marathon. And you raise money for the children at Connecticut Children's Medical Center. And this year, ASA and PCS were part of that. And we raised, at least for our clubs, a significant amount of money. So we dedicated a good amount of time. And we'll also have one of our members speaking about our latest initiative, which is called Wheels for Olsi, but she will speak about that later. So this is the child that we sponsor, Miranda. She lives on the outskirts of the capital of Albania, Tirana, and she receives donations from us every month that help her get clean water, access to a decent education, and so forth. This is us at the Pharmacy Fun Run. This is at the Place Multicultural Children's Festival, and that's also that event. And that's our Huskython team. And that is the merging of PCS and ASA at Huskython right there. And the grand total for Huskython, which we both contributed to, was $457,000, around about that. Right. And that was our child, Marissa. And every year we also go to the Albanian Festival in Waterbury, and this was a couple years ago with Senator Chris Murphy. ASA in the future, this year we focused on philanthropy. Next year I'm hoping to see, this is my personal hope, but this depends on what the members want, perhaps something more academic oriented, just to get our name out across campus as a serious organization in addition to being a social and fun organization. So
hello again, everyone. I'm going to give my presidential speech as the president of World Culture Society. What are you? I'm sure everyone in this room has been asked this question. It's a question that has eluded me my entire life. In in part because it is not always clear what is being asked. I believe my good friend and coincidentally ASA member, Yola Mehmeti, properly articulated this frustration with a Facebook status update written on March 15th of this year. No question gives me heart palpitations quite like the question, where are you from? Like, where was I born? My background? Where I live? Where my family is? What do you want from me? I haven't been born and raised in this country, say, America, I'm American. But this answer is usually met with furrowed brow and eye roll. But the many years of having been asked this question, I finally come to discover what people are actually asking. And it's basically this: what is your ethnicity? Now, we're all Americans sitting here, whether born back home abroad or in these United States, but one fact remains certain: we are aware of our origins. Growing up, I was always aware. I responded to this question by what I knew from my grandparents and the languages they spoke. But before I could ever answer, the questioner would always sleuth through a long list of nationalities from all over the world, and not even in the same geographic sphere as where my heritage actually lie: Eastern European problems. Because we in this room answer, we're Polish, we're Albanian, we're Ukrainian, what have you. And the response is still the same from the everyday American. Ah, really, that's next to Russia? Where is that? You really look much more Italian. These are actually things that have been said to me my entire life, over and over again, this year, last year. Every year of my existence, people have asked me, what are you? Where are you from? This response is important. It doesn't have as much to do with nationality as it does, I feel, with identity. I identify as Polish and French Canadian. My heritage and upbringing has influenced how I see the world and given me a unique perspective. And ultimately, what I am most proud of is how our club came together. It's an unspoken rule that you have to assimilate in this country. At the end of the day, we are aware of our origins. In our club, we are aware of our origins. We understand that our parents came speaking a different language. We come from a specific culture. We reflect on this, but are also willing to share with others. Ultimately, what I'm most proud of is how our club came together as a team to raise money for Huskython, which benefits the Connecticut Children's Medical Center. This was our first time doing the event, and we raised over $800 throughout the year. Money and time were invested towards a goal for something much larger to ourselves. As part of an organization in memory of our culture and heritage. As much as I'm proud of my own club and our achievements this year, I'm especially privileged to have met the Albanian Student Association here at UConn. I have to thank you too, as well as my officers, for the success we've had as a group. Your support and friendship has helped guide me into the club that we are today. I have learned so much because of your leadership and professionalism. You are an amazing team. Priscilla has been a major role model for me as well as an amazing friend. I have the highest regards for the ASA and the sincerity of its members and welcome me as a member of the club. This friendship and collaboration between our clubs has resulted into the event that we have today. An event that still has people raising their eyebrows. Why are ASA and PCS having a conference together? What do we share? What do we have in common? Which brings me back to that main question. What are you? Well, we know what we are. We don't respond white, European for that matter. We know where our families and ancestors came from. We have a very specific part of the world, a place unique from others. We know our roots and traditions, and some of us are struggling with that in America. Some of us have been struggling with that for years. Our nations have endured, despite foreign domination, the horrors of war and communism. Our tenacity as a people is reflected in the fact that we are still here today, and these students are investing so much in a group where they feel camaraderie. I can talk with Albanian Americans and Polish Americans together, and feel this as well. We have a shared experience, we're on the same wavelength. There's been instilled a set of values that speaks for itself. Our respective communities are unique, but not immune to the challenging answer of our changing identities. We need to be realistic into what we are doing as a cultural organization. We are coming together because we share this part of our identity. We are also celebrating with new people in this great country that is America. We are celebrating with people who may be different but have a shared common experience. There is solidarity in that. So the next time someone asks you, what are you? You're not afraid to say what you are. You're not afraid to hear their prejudices or misconceptions. You say what you are because you know where you came from, and you're proud of that. But you're also proud to let other people into your life because you're here together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Celine. I'll also give my president's speech right now. I swear I'll be brief and everyone can continue eating through it. When I was interviewing for my acceptance into UConn 4 years ago, I was asked why I wanted to attend the University of Connecticut in particular. I told the scholarship committee interviewing me that I was interested in UConn for a variety of reasons. One being that it already felt like home. My sister, Janella, who, being the amazing sister she is in the audience right now. You wave, Janella. She waves. So my sister, Janella, was a UConn alumnus, class of '07. I therefore spent many weekends during my childhood visiting her here on the store's campus and enjoying the fine dining provided by South Dining Hall right below us. I also told them that if given the scholarship, I would make the most of my UConn experience. I indicated that I was interested in joining the ballroom dance team in particular and turning my two left feet into the graceful legs of an elegant dancer by the time I graduated. I mean, for anyone who knows me or who has seen me waddling my way around campus, that clearly didn't happen. So, however, I did end up maintaining my first assertion to the scholarship committee. UConn did feel like home, and it has become home for me. Not at first, of course. My freshman year was rocky, and I lived on a corner of campus and was a bit shy. Luckily, I did one thing right my freshman year. I decided to stop by the ASA booth at the involvement fair, and after going to one meeting, I decided to stick with ASA, even though it conflicted with ballroom dance practice. So, you guys, I chose you instead of ballroom dance. It's a big thing. So I became secretary halfway through my freshman year, and the second half was therefore far more fun because I became more involved. I'm a firm believer that the more that one involves oneself in an organization or anything, the more fulfillment one receives from that. So I continued my involvement as secretary the following year, as vice president, and then this year as president. As a freshman, we had 7 or 8 regular members, 15 overall if we were incredibly lucky and if we brought pizza to the meetings. As a sophomore, our numbers were roughly the same, but last year our membership exploded. We had a group coming in that many of them knew each other before, and they were just very dedicated and very enthusiastic. And this year I'm happy to say that we have 25 people on average at each meeting, though we do have twice as many general members. So I think that's an incredible accomplishment, and that speaks to our members, which I'm very proud of. So we've gone from an organization in which 1 or 2 people used to take on the vast majority of responsibilities to a collaborative group. Maria is always ready to spearhead an event. Loretta takes great notes and keeps everyone in the loop. And Urini, as I said before, has been a godsend in terms of handling finances and paperwork for funding. So, although I joined ASA on what I thought was a win, I now recognize that it was a need to understand my own identity, and this kind of relates to Celine's speech. My own identity by knowing others who are quote-unquote like me. Through ASA, I was able to understand my identity socially, and its influence also encouraged me to let my personal desire to know my identity lead into my academic desires as well. In fact, I'm currently researching the implications of national cultural trauma and the transmission of what one critic, Marianne Hirsch, calls post-memory in a novel by Tatos Congoli called The Loser, or Iumuri in Albanian. Theorist Benedict Anderson has stated that the concept of the nation, American, Albanian, or otherwise, is an imagined community of people who feel that they share common experiences based on the sharing of common media, print language, and now presumably visual media sources as well. So a nation then is a wholly imaginative construction, and this is my personal belief. I tend to agree with this. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. This is not meant to detract from the importance of nationhood. I only mean to point out that as members of cultural organizations, whether we are PCS or ASA in the diaspora, we have to be careful about how we view nationhood and national pride, particularly from the perspective of post-memory, which is, if one generation has the memory of a cultural trauma, be it communism or what have you, or war, communism, etc. The second generation who has not experienced that kind of has this residual memory that they don't really know where to place. That's called post-memory. So, boundless, thoughtless national pride is a dangerous thing, just as boundless, thoughtless anything is a dangerous thing. We must keep in mind that as first generation, 1.5 generation, and second generation individuals here in the U.S., our sense of belonging to a nation is simultaneously twofold, to the U.S. and Albania or to the U.S. and Poland, and also non-existent, because we may sometimes feel that we do not really belong to neither one nor the other. I experienced this phenomenon this past summer when I received grant money to travel to Albania in order to conduct initial research for my thesis. I was shocked to find that, in the 20 years that I'd been here, apparently 20 years had also passed there. I was very naive, and needless to say, my eyes were opened. It is now no longer the place that diasporic populations such as ourselves look back on with nostalgia. Albania is not that place anymore. It is its own place where the population is trying to move forward from a traumatic, xenophobic, communist past. They are trying to both move forward but also catch up at breakneck speed. And try as much as I could not, and I probably will not, be able to fully understand because I have come of age elsewhere. So although many of us can either feel truly Albanian or American, or Polish or American, what we can feel is that hyphenated phrase, Albanian American or Polish American, and find a common language with each other, and this again harks back to Celine's speech. This is a new type of nationhood, if you will, diasporic nationhood. This is what I have experienced in the ASA. If the ASA is my family, and family is the smallest unit of a nation, then I am part of the Albanian American nation. I am part of this nation because I feel that I share a post-memory, a sense of memory removed from the original memory, from the experience itself, with my fellow members, many of whom, just like me, have grown up listening to stories of communism without having ever experienced it ourselves, but have grown up influenced by a concept that is both known and unknown to us. We can feel a sense of community with each other. We all joined ASA for one reason, whether we want to admit it or not. We wanted friends freshman year. And the excuse for joining this club in particular, as opposed to others, just happened to be that we could strike up a conversation by saying, hey, I'm Albanian. Are you? Where are you from? So it was, that's kind of the reasoning behind it. So regardless of the initial reasoning, we remain a community not because we are Albanian particularly, but because we are all human and all looking to connect. Author E.M. Forster said this best in Howard's End: only connect. This is why I am beyond proud of ASA for having an increasing amount of non-ethnically Albanian members, and for collaborating with organizations like PCS. So I want to thank everyone in ASA for your confidence in me throughout the years. I've gone from someone who was perpetually vice president or a helper, and I've become my own leader. So that lesson is invaluable, and your faith in me has been humbling. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, Virginia Scanda. I would like to urge everyone to invest in this thing called a stapler, because if you miss one page of your speech, it needs to be sent. So, I read Priscilla's speech before I came up with mine, and she has her own perspective. I have my own. In terms of nationhood, I agree to an extent. We're all essentially Americans sitting in this room. Essentially also Albanian, essentially also Polish. We're all of the above, yet neither. Identity is a big part of our organizations, yet it is identity that is our biggest struggle. For example, Poland was partitioned for 123 years and ceased to exist as a nation. It was wiped off the map. The country of Poland did not exist for 123 years, but Polish people still existed. They still passed down their culture and language. The Polish identity is what survived, even when the nation did not. Identity is what survives. This is what we share. This is what our friends come to know us by. We are ambassadors for our families and culture. Without knowing the language of our culture, you lose that identity. It's the difference between looking at Poland as a foreign country or as home. We need to pass that down, that knowledge, because once it's gone, it's very hard to get back. that sense of identity, is the thing that unites us. For the fact of the matter is, people here will always be asking, what are you? And I feel that the worst response is, I don't know. The Polish community has struggled with this for years. My own family has struggled with this. My grandmother didn't even go by her real name, it was too unpronounceable for everyday use. My mother heard dumb Polak jokes growing up, even though she was one of the top students in her school. I also have friends who were raised Catholic, as most of us are, mocked as being ignorant for having read off in a faith. There are a lot of Polish people in this country who do not identify as Polish. And this is one of the challenges I have discovered from being president of our club. In the struggle of being a part of this identity, we face prejudice. And that prejudice is the reason why we don't share the language with our kids or children. It's why we don't share the culture. We're afraid that prejudice will face them. Why I have friends who are first-generation American who can't have a conversation with their own grandparents. We shouldn't feel ashamed of who or what we are. Just that because we are Eastern European does not mean that we are any less valid than other Europeans, or that we speak strange languages or have difficult names. We have a culture that we respect, and some others aren't going to respect. But we know what we know, and we know where we're from. And I believe that is something to take pride in. Thank you. Our first guest speaker for the night, speaking on behalf of Polish Cultural Society, Adrian Barron, president of the Polonia Business Association and partner at the law firm of Podorowski, Thompson & Barron. Attorney Barron has received his law degree from New York's Pace University School of Law and also holds a certificate in international business law and trade. In addition to his professional achievements, Mr. Barron has been instrumental in part of organizing the Polish community in Connecticut. Thank you. Please give it up.
Mentioned the importance of actually learning the language. Growing up, my parents were both from Poland, and I hated that my parents made me speak Polish at home. We weren't allowed to speak English at home. I was a Polish Boy Scout, and I never thought I would use Polish in my professional life. And we didn't have anything like this at my own college. I think it's wonderful what you guys are doing. It's a wonderful organization, both Polish and Albanian students. But my own return to Polish culture happened after I graduated college. I had an opportunity to apply for a job with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in New York. And I was one of about 50 candidates. And I had the dumb luck, actually. As I was sitting in the room about to interview, Mr. Kennedy received a call from the Polish dignitary. And the Polish dignitary didn't speak English very well. And I remember Bobby saying, how the hell am I going to talk to this guy? So of all the applicants, I raised my hand and I said, Mr. Kennedy, I happen to speak Polish. But I was being a wise ass. And that's how I got my job. And through that, I went to law school. I became an associate attorney at Podorowski & Thompson in Hartford. We were located in Hartford for 65 years. And again, Polish culture came into play. Our senior partner had heard that New Britain, Connecticut had over 20,000 Polish people and that the community was strongly underserved. I said, Mr. Thompson, I happen to speak Polish. So we opened up a branch office in New Britain, Connecticut. It was a one-room office. My desk had a big iron pole in front of it. I had to lean across to see the client. The clients came in, the air conditioner would drip water on. Our little one-room office in New Britain started out doing our Hartford office to the point where our whole law firm had moved to New Britain. I became a partner. I was the only guy that spoke Polish in the office. And in 2005, when we did open that office, I remember an article in the Hartford Advocate. It was by a writer named Adam Bolter, who was writing a story about heroin abuse in New Britain. And he focused on Broad Street, where our office was. He referred to the residents of New Britain as Eastern European gangster types wearing fake-looking heroin abuse, he talked about prostitutes, he made fun of all the stores on the street, but they all ended in ski. Really upset me, really got me going. So I got together with some of the business owners, and we formed the Bologna Business Association. We decided to rebrand the area. The area was traditionally Polish since 1890, but it had fallen on some hard times. A lot of the local gangs started selling drugs in the area, and it just wasn't as nice as it was when I remember as a kid. So we went to the city council, and we convinced the city of New Britain to brand the area officially Little Poland. So now I don't know if anybody's aware of Broad Street or Little Poland, but we have a neighborhood now officially designated Little Poland, and we started working on rebranding the area. As an attorney, I went to business, and if they got hit with graffiti, if they got hit with crime, I showed them how to use the court system. If they were a victim of a crime, we talked to the state's attorney, we made sure they got compensated, we started looking out for each other, we put up cameras. Slowly but surely, the neighborhood got better. The strip club on the street became the Belvedere restaurant, an elegant restaurant where now members of Congress have visited, Polish ambassador has visited, world famous boxers, Olympians. My own law office, we purchased a building on Broad Street. It used to be a hangout for the Los Solitos gang. When I bought the building, on the day of my closing, there was a man selling heroin on the front steps. Today, I've marked that spot with a bench. It's the bench where kids wait for the school bus. The heroin guy is gone. My law office is now where the Los Solitos hangout used to be. And we now have offices also in Stamford and Westport as a result of our success on Broad Street. So we've been really working on a grassroots effort to promote Polish culture, and we've been turning this one little area into a destination spot. There's more restaurants now, banks have been opening in the areas, day spas, hair salons, restaurants, you name it. And we decided to celebrate the return of the neighborhood with a Little Poland Festival. Our first year, we had about 800 people show up. Our second year, we had 8,000 people show up. So this is going to be our third year, April 27th. We invite everybody to come down. So we're not really sure what's going to happen. But it's revived the area, and now people don't refer to it as Eastern European gangster types, but they call it a city's Polish heart, as was described in Boston Globe. We have New York Times reviewed restaurants there now. We have a lot of revitalization of the area, thanks to the immigrants from Poland and other countries that have come in to really focus on the city and focus on that area to show what people can accomplish. So I'm really excited about what you guys have been doing, and I encourage you to use your background. It could be really an advantage to you. You never know when you're going to be able to use it. Most of my business is thanks to knowing Polish language, it's thanks to knowing the culture. It's easier to deal with clients when you understand the culture behind it. Things that I have an advantage over other attorneys that they just don't have the same kind of knowledge. And it's led to great things for myself, and I know it could lead to great things for you. Once again, thank you for this opportunity, and I guess I open it up to questions. If anybody has any questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baer. Next, on behalf of the Albanian Student Association, we have Mr. Mithat Gashi, Scholarship Chair of the Pan-Albanian Association of America, Batra.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very honored to be here tonight. First, I'm honored because of the collaboration between the Albanian Student Association and the Polish Cultural Association to have organized this event. Second, I'm very honored also because I myself, some 22 years ago, I created a club, an Albanian Student Association at Pace University. So, Mr. Barron, we have something in common there. I was an undergraduate student at Pace University, and I established a club that has a very similar mission that we heard earlier from both presidents. One mistake that I made was that I did not identify the right leader after I graduated to take over the leadership position of maintaining the continuation of the club. So I encourage both presidents, Celine and Grisela, to ensure the continuation of both clubs. Second, the presidents of both organizations were discussing the question of identity, which gave this conference an academic sense, an academic meaning. And that reminded me of a twist to the discussion. In the 12th century, a Persian mystic was hanging out with two friends, and they were discussing the meaning of life. One of the people who was staying there asked one of the friends of this mystic poet, "Who are you?" His response was, "My name is." The question goes again, "I didn't ask you about your name. I asked you, who are you?" "Well, my profession is." The response was not what the person was looking for. So then the mystic interfered, and his response was, "I am who I was before I were." So that's a very multidimensional meaning. But ultimately, as Mr. Barron mentioned, and the two speakers mentioned earlier, no matter where you go in the world, there are some common cultural elements, common values that draws people together. Common interests, common values, and all of these are areas that we celebrate, we cherish. I represent an organization called Vatra. Vatra is the oldest Albanian organization in existence that has continued from 1912 until today. So I'll talk briefly about this organization. Vatra was established in Boston, mainly by Albanian immigrants from southern Albania who migrated to New England in the late 1800s and early 1900s. The first mission of Vatra was to protect the Albanian territories. Celine mentioned earlier that Poland didn't exist for over 100 years. Well, Albania, for the first time, became independent in 1912. The Ottoman Empire controlled Albania for about 500 years. And when the Ottoman Empire was retreating from Europe, the Albanian question was in existence because its neighbors, and it usually happens that the neighbors occupy you or want to take a piece of you, its neighbors wanted to chop Albania literally in half. As a result, Vatra played a significant role in bringing awareness to the members of the U.S. Congress, including the U.S. President later during the after World War I, President Wilson. So the Vatra's contribution in this area has continued, and it continues until today. My role in the organization is I'm a chair of a scholarship foundation that was established in 1961, and this scholarship foundation provides scholarship support to Albanian American students in the United States. Vatra, during the first half of its life, established chapters in different parts of the United States. It had at one point about 80 chapters, but unfortunately the founders of Vatra, by the time 1960, 1970 was here, they were old and they died. Their children were dispersed in different parts of the United States. They were no longer active in continuing the mission of their parents. New wave of immigrants that moved to the United States in the 60s and 70s became members of Vatra. And that wave of individuals is also getting old today. Therefore, the younger generation, it is you, the students, that need to take on the torch and become members of this historic organization. And I encourage you all to see me afterwards and talk to me. We are now in the process of establishing chapters of Vatra in different parts of the United States. We currently have established two chapters in Florida and one in Illinois, and we are also looking into establishing a chapter in Boston and one here in Connecticut. I want to again thank everyone here tonight. I also want to thank the advisors of both clubs, your academic advisors, I want to take this time to encourage you to take advantage of this fine institution. This is a well-established research institution. Take advantage by organizing the different events that you have been organizing in the past, especially in the area of philanthropy. By helping other people, you're touching people's lives, but at the same time, you're also shaping your own future. The important thing is not to forget your own values, not to forget your own cultural heritage. And in this institution, you're learning how to learn. You broaden your mind, and I hope that you will understand that by education alone, you will not succeed. You need to continue, as the president mentioned earlier, the collaboration. You need to continue to network with one another. Continue to have more of these conferences, more of the cultural events, and bring in the alumni, the speakers, to talk to you about their experiences after college. Because those of you who are graduating this year, and by the way, I want to congratulate those of you who graduated this year, you will need the kind of support that is needed for anyone who's a recent graduate in identifying a path for your own career, in identifying whether you want to go to a college for your graduate work, or in if you want to enter the field of law. And in this case, Mr. Barrett is here, and here's a person that can guide you, because when a person goes through a process, through a path, that person knows the path and can give more guidance to you. In addition, I also wanted to express my gratitude from the president of the Albanian organization Vatra, Dr. John Bucay. He was supposed to be here tonight, but he was unable because of a health issue. So again, congratulations for a wonderful event, and Vatra will continue to be a part of your life if you open your arms and join Vatra. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Targash. Now we have Michael Gwara on behalf of Polish Cultural Society. Michael Gwara was a 2012 alumni at UCS, graduate of UConn School of Engineering with a degree in mechanical engineering. He's a manufacturing engineer at Hammond Special Bearings and Engineered Products. He's been an active advisor on the board of directors and member at Polish National Home, as well as directors in programs and development at the Polish American Foundation. Thank you, Mr. Gwara.
So Celine asked me to come here today to talk to you about the U.S. visa waiver program, specifically in its application to Poland. As many of you know, certain countries are allowed entrance or participation into the United States visa waiver program. It's a program managed by the Secretary of State that allows citizens of those countries entry and permission to enter the United States through an automatic visa, some sort of electronic visa acceptance system. So the visa waiver program was started in 1986 as an attempt to consolidate consular activities and move them away from the individual consulates into the Secretary of State's office. It would allow the individual consulates and embassy to focus their efforts in other areas such as counterterrorism or local American, pro-American outreach diplomacy. The first members were generally participants in NATO, UK, France, Germany, Switzerland, West Germany. And the idea was individuals who were citizens of these countries would be given a temporary 90-day B-type visa. B1 visa, B1 for professional activities, or B2 for pleasure, leisure, or a B1, B2 combination. Currently, membership is at 38, the latest country allowed to participate in the visa waiver program, Republic of China, Taiwan. Qualifications to be a participant within the visa waiver program requires that the country allow reciprocal privileges to United States citizens, that they have less than a 3% refusal rate for anyone who applies for a visa, or 2.5 average for the last 2 fiscal years. Machine-readable biometric passports is something that has a picture in it that allows a comparison between that and what is currently in the digital database, just to verify that that passport is in fact valid. And the free communication and distribution of information regarding stolen passports, persons who are fugitives, etc., Interpol and other international police organizations to cut down on crime and various other international issues. We have a map depicting the current participants in the visa waiver program in green. In light blue, we have visa-free countries. At this time, is Canada. The United States is in dark. As you can see, Poland is not part of this. That's an issue that is near and dear to many Polish Americans because it prevents our loved ones and businessmen and others from entering into this country unless they go spend a couple of terms of the number of visas issued, it fluctuates year by year. Lately, we've had a downturn, especially in the past 10 years since Poland has been a part of the EU. It's easier for a Polish citizen to acquire a treaty with the Schengen zone and enter that country versus coming through to the United States or a temporary stay, tourism, business, etc. So, why admit Poland to these ways? Well, first and foremost, travel and economy. Among industry experts, travel is by far the number one contributor to our economy. Okay? For every 33 visitors, that is one job in the United States. In a time when we have a lack of jobs, a lack of economy, this obviously makes perfect sense. Provides us with additional tax revenue, provides us with investment, provides our country with income and a safe and secure future. Regarding Poland, Poland itself is a relatively stable and economically prosperous nation. Compared to the rest of the world, Poland is good, relatively. It has a relatively high life expectancy rate, good per capita GDP, and overall unemployment compared to the rest of the world is low. Education, life expectancy, as I said, relatively high. Furthermore, Poland is the only member of the European Union not a member of the visa waiver program. Whereas Poland itself granted the United States citizens visa waivers in the 90s, we have not done the same. As I mentioned, Poland has been undergoing positive GDP growth compared to the rest of Europe. Poland's current economic capacity, current economic status is much better than nations such as Greece, such as Italy, such as Germany, where we only have visa waivers. Poland is a member of Interpol, okay, which is a requirement of the visa waiver program. So if you look at all the requirements, the only thing Poland has failed at is the refusal rate. Now, specifically from a military aspect, Poland has been a ardent supporter of the United States, an ally of it since its inception. Two Polish generals, Pulaski and Kościuszko, fought for the United States, founded the U.S. Cavalry, founded West Point, founded the Army Corps of Engineers. We had Polish freedom fighters fighting in the Revolution, fighting in World War II, fighting in World War I. Holler's army fought on the Western Front in France, the Kościuszko squadron in Europe, protecting England. We had Polish forces on the beaches of Normandy and Monte Cassino in Russia, just about everywhere in Japan. Excuse me, I should say the Asian front. Poland has provided troops in war on terror, Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, and recently has supported U.S. diplomatic efforts in Ukraine, sort of being a go between us and Russia and Ukraine. Regarding bills and attempts at getting Poland to be part of the visa waiver program, short of an executive action, something that the President has within his repertoire was HR 355, HR 959, all of these were introduced, came close, but never actually went and got Poland to the program. The JOLT Act was closest we could have gotten. Part of this is due to the fact that there is not much support in Congress for providing Poland with a visa waiver. I think the single bill is stuck with Congress, stuck on the floor. Americans passed that. It's very important as us, as Polish Americans, to basically go and contact the representatives, governors, presidents, and speak to them and make them aware of the current situation and where they stand on it. Within this room, we have 3 individuals who recently went to the White House on that very issue. Okay, they're all sitting at that table right there, Ryan. And they can tell you that people out there, other very dedicated supporters of the Visa Waiver program and are doing their best to make it something that will happen in the very near future. It requires your support as Polish Americans to basically make our voices heard and make sure they see that we in fact want it. Thank you.
President of Polish Cultural Society, I'm incredibly appreciative of the fact that Michael has come to our event today. He's been an enormous help in helping me run the organization in terms of feedback and guidance for anything I can do to help further the club. He's also an inspiration to me because of his role in Polonia and the stance that he takes and his initiative and drive. So, without further ado, I'd like to congratulate you with the Certificate of Excellence for your participation in our Our club advisor, Mr. Robert Ludig, has been an amazing influence in this event. 2 years ago, we had a Polish festival, and we didn't apply for USG funding, and we asked for donations for food. And it was pretty much a community effort to organize the event itself. It was a successful festival, many people attended, but most of the people were not UConn students. The thing that I see today, even though it may not be as crowded as previous events, is that most of us are UConn students with their families. And the fact that we're coming out today to celebrate this together is what really matters. The fact that we're doing something here at the University of Connecticut, when there are so many other clubs and organizations who have events in the same ballroom. This is the first time we have reserved this space. This is a huge deal. I want to stress that to everyone here today, that this collaboration is in part because of our advisor, this man, Mr. Hoodie, who told me, things you don't ask for in life, you won't get, you won't receive. You have to ask for things. Admitting that you need help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. And he's helped me in so many ways, in terms of reaching out to ASA, in terms of dreaming of bigger and better things for our club and others. So, I'd like to welcome you to come up and receive your award for a Certificate of Excellence in the role that you've provided for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Celine, and thank you, Mr. Farah and everyone. Next, on behalf of the ASA, our last guest speaker for the evening for the ASA will be one of our alumni. Her name is Esmeralda Barbellari. She is a current JD candidate at New England Law in Boston, and she will be speaking about some of her current ideas and goals.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure, an honor, and most importantly, a privilege to be here to speak in front of you today. I'd like to thank our invited speakers, our guests, for your time, taking the time out of your busy schedules to speak here today, and excuse me for being nervous. I'd like to share with you a short story about my childhood in Albania. I was 10 years old when we left for the United States. And one of the most fondest memories I have is receiving a pack of crayons. I remember a few years before immigrating to the United States, my family received a package from Florida, to be exact. And among the various items in there was a package of crayons. And I just remember sharing it with my classmates. And I remember sharing it with my desk mate who sat to my right. And the reason why it remains such a memorable memory to me, or it stands out of the many memories I have, and it took me 15 years to figure this out, is because I truly understand the giving a gift, or the definition of a gift. And the definition of a gift to me is an act of kindness without expecting anything in return. And to me, it took me 15 years to understand, because somebody took the time out of their lives and took the money that they worked for to buy me something. to buy me a gift. And speaking of gifts is the reason why I'm here today to speak to you on behalf of a nonprofit organization that and I say we as the Albanian Student Association, is hopefully the Polish Community Society, to work together and create a mission-based nonprofit organization. And in response, and I want to say is, this organization is not just going to be about Albania, but we can extend it to countries who are in need, and we can create a mission and create funding or raise funding and then move towards that. In response to the rapidly changing social and economic conditions in Albania, I see this as a personal endeavor to provide these less fortunate people with an opportunity to strive in society, to provide them with appropriate medical assistance, education, and economic opportunity. We may be a world away, and we are, and we may feel disconnected from a world where there are two extremes. A part of society that experiences extreme poverty, and a part of society that reaps the benefits of a corrupt political system. And of course, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Our mission is to end this extreme poverty and to promote the development of a resilient democratic society, a society where people are able to recognize their true potential. With your help and the help of various Albanian communities throughout the United States, I hope to build what would initially be a mission-based nonprofit organization, then we can move towards a more permanent solution. Our mission goals are a deep commitment to work together to promote human rights, empower women and girls, and advance prosperity. We want to pursue a vision of the world where every child has access to school supplies, medical supplies, and an opportunity to excel in life. We want to provide assistance for women who have been or are in currently abusive homes, educate those who need guidance and clarity, and provide a safe outlet for those who are in danger. And we will strive to support the most vulnerable. In one mission at a time, we will make a difference. We must remove the focus from our own problems and focus on the problems of the less fortunate. I respectfully ask and urge everyone in this room to work together, marshaling resources and services to those who are in need. Today marks the beginning of change, and although we may not be able to change the world, we will certainly push the first domino, and we hope that the rest will follow. As far as fundraising is concerned, we are still in the beginning stages of our nonprofit, but we are working with the Albanian community in Worcester, Massachusetts, as well as Waterbury, Connecticut, and we're going to be setting up a stand this summer and hopefully raising a little money. So thank you for your time and this opportunity, and I hope to be working with you in the future.
Thank you, Esmeralda. Could everyone please give her another round of applause? Our last speaker on behalf of Polish Cultural Society is Darek Wojciechowski, founder, managing partner at White Eagle Media for the past 10 years, and has been publisher of a series of Polish language newspapers throughout the country, including the Białe Orzeł. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and then a little bit about ethnic media in general based on my experience. So I started the White Eagle as the only, at the time, Polish newspaper in the city of Boston, where I had lived for most of my life. We came over from Poland when I was 9 years old. So I know there are probably many ways to start a newspaper, but what I did was I went to the Polish church and I made an announcement that I'm starting a Polish newspaper and asked if anybody wants to join the effort and volunteer. And a few people did, so we had a group of about 6 of us, most of us without any prior experience in publishing, editing, advertising, circulation, any of that fun stuff. So the first few months, we worked out of my apartment, and we began putting out a free bi-weekly newspaper serving all of Massachusetts. And as we were the only Polish language newspaper at the time and still are in the state of Massachusetts, the interest was just phenomenal. There were 350,000 Polish Americans in the state of Massachusetts. So pretty soon we noticed that there are other communities across the country where we could probably replicate our success story. So we launched a local Polish newspaper here in Connecticut that is still in existence through today. We launched a Polish paper in Florida, then Arizona, then California, Pennsylvania, New York, and then New Jersey. So we're publishing 8 Polish papers here in the US. We were working hard, we were having fun, and everywhere we went, the paper became a success. The reception was phenomenal. There was interest in advertisers. We were able to sustain ourselves. So then this is around the time when Poland became part of the European Union. There was a mass exodus of young Polish people looking for employment opportunities heading to the UK. We decided we're going to publish a Polish Yellow Pages, a phone book of sorts, in the UK. So we opened a subsidiary in London, an office in London, and we started publishing the Polish Pages UK, serving Great Britain. And after that, we were close to Poland. We opened one other publication in Poland. It was a lifestyle magazine focusing on culture and entertainment and nightlife. As all of this happened, and we were probably in the midst of our biggest expansion, the economy went sour, and things got really, really bad. Most of the companies that had to sort of tighten their spendings, they reduced their advertising budgets, and a lot of our biggest advertisers, such as Western Union, phone companies, airlines, Lufthansa was a big advertiser of ours. All of these companies almost immediately froze their advertising budgets because the economy was bad and everybody was hurting. This hurt us pretty bad. We had to restructure a lot of our operations. We ended up selling the Yellow Pages in the UK, the magazine in Poland, and here in the US, we reduced our operations to 4 newspapers, which we publish currently. And we still cover most of the same geographical area that we did in the past, but for example, our Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey newspapers became a tri-state newspaper, so we have one newspaper covering that area. I think we've survived the worst of it, as a lot of, in general, print media got hurt pretty bad with the recession. I think we've survived the worst of it, and things are definitely starting to pick up for us a little bit. So that, in a nutshell, is our sort of 11-year adventure in the publishing business and ethnic media business that started with an idea, an announcement at the Polish church, and took us across the U.S. and then, quite frankly, across the globe. I wanted to talk a little bit about ethnic media. Ethnic media plays a crucial role in our communities. And in the Polish community, there's 10 million Polish Americans, and whether these are folks that have been here for most of their lives, or newcomers, or second or third generation Polish Americans, we have publications that serve all these different demographics and groups, and like I said, ethnic media plays a huge role in these communities, and I'm sure that is true for the Albanian community, and Russian community, and Latino communities, Brazilian. I mean, I've sort of been, ethnic media has become a passion of mine, so I follow what other communities do, and there's a certain level of credibility. Things that are published in the, and of course there's a language barrier, so people who speak a foreign language at home are more inclined to consume media in that ethnic language. But there is also a credibility level. When folks read things in their own language, it adds to the credibility of what is being said in the newspaper. And then another reason why ethnic media plays a huge role is that there are a lot of issues that if an ethnic community does not consume mainstream media for the most part, then they rely on ethnic media for their source of not only information and news, but also things that are happening, whether it's healthcare reform or immigration reform or certain things that have to do with just everyday life issues or changes in their laws or minimum wage going up, things that every family or every person should know about. Ethnic media oftentimes is the only source of information where they can get that information from. I mentioned that ethnic media, that print media overall got hurt pretty bad with the recession. Things are getting a little better for us. But most ethnic media, I don't want to say that they struggle, but it's not an easy task. And the reason it's not an easy task is that We have a huge following in our case and a huge readership and demand. Our newspaper is free of charge, and there are times that we just can't print enough newspapers because there are places here in Connecticut on Broad Street in New Britain where we can leave 500 copies on one day, and then 2 days later they're all gone. And that's just one store. So the demand is huge. On the advertising side, it's a little tougher because most ethnic newspapers are sustained by large companies, large advertisers, and a lot of these advertisers are turning away from print media and turning towards the internet without realizing that for a lot of ethnic communities, print media is still the primary way to reach those communities. A lot of advertising agencies tend to work with mainstream media more often than with ethnic media, simply for the fact that it's an easier task for them, it's an easier job. If an ad agency puts a $100,000 campaign in the Hartford Courant, for example, they get their 15% commission with one ad buy. If they want to take that $100,000 and spread it among 30 or 40 ethnic media outlets, when you look at the logistics of that and translation and billing and invoicing and tracking, all the other aspects of running an ad agency, it's just not as a worthwhile opportunity for them and a business proposition. So ad agencies also tend to overlook ethnic media. So we still struggle, and as most print media, but ethnic media specifically, we're fighting to survive. Ethnic media, I use this term a lot. I don't like to use it, but I say that ethnic media is content hungry. We do, in our case, we have professional reporters. We do a lot of in-depth analysis and coverage of the issues that we write about. But a lot of ethnic media, us included, we welcome, and again, this is why I don't like to use this term content hungry, but we welcome unsolicited letters to the editor, pictures, content, anything like that, because at the end of the day, we have a limited budget and we have newspapers that need to get filled. And organizations such as yours, the Polish organization, the Albanian organization, I would really want to encourage you to reach out to your ethnic media, to your smaller media, and just send them stuff. You would be surprised how often anything you send as, in the form of unsolicited content will get published, whether it's pictures from your events, news announcements, profiles of interesting people, invitations to different events, because a lot of these media outlets, not just ethnic but smaller community newspapers, are really looking and looking to fill their pages with a limited budget. And you know, whether it's in the United States alone, probably today there's about 30, maybe 35 Polish language newspapers. I'm not sure what the scenario is on the Albanian side, but getting information about what you do here at the university through these publications, you know, that gets picked up, that gets published. Maybe somebody in California or Florida or New York will read about some of the great work that you guys do, or maybe you will reach an alumni that went to this school, and they will say, gee, you know, they're doing such fantastic work, I want to support an event, I want to do a scholarship, I want to do something. I mean, that free PR that you guys can utilize through this ethnic media is really something that I want to encourage you today to think about. And if you don't have done so already, perhaps in your respective organizations, you can appoint a press officer or a PR officer. I noticed that some of the folks getting awards today are majoring in PR. I would definitely want to encourage you to reach out to as many media outlets, whether it's here in Connecticut, community newspapers, whether it's national publications in Albanian or in Polish, or even publications back home. They're looking for interesting stories, and everything I have heard here today is definitely interesting and phenomenal, and I definitely want to encourage you to do so, and I think you'd be very surprised how often these things get picked up and how much interest you can generate in what you do here. I will leave it at that. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight.
Everyone. Just giving a few last remarks just before we give our awards, and then there will be dancing. So everyone will get to move about in just a few short minutes. At this time, we just want to have one of our ASA members, Marsilda, come up. She has been really great in starting up this initiative called Wheels for Olsey, which she will be speaking about. Thank you.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming tonight. You're all so amazing. Like, I'm astonished. This is my first conference to be here, second semester in the ASA, so I'm so excited. So my name is Marcela Białczak, and I'm an Albanian. My husband is actually Polish, so makes this conference perfect. Me and ASA, we were like fundraising money for my dear friend Alci from Albania. We're trying to fundraise $8,000. A lot of people think, whoa, that's a lot of money. Well, my dear friend Alci suffers from muscular dystrophy, which is an incurable disease and weakens the strength of your muscles. And he was forced to drop out of high school when he was only 6 years old. And now, for more than 3 years, he's been stuck inside his home, not be able to walk, go to school, work, or do anything else. His parents are really poor and cannot really provide for any facility or even like buy him just a wheelchair. So we're trying to like pay for some of his like physiotherapy that he needs and buy him an electric wheelchair and mobile scooter. So we all wanted you guys to kind of like have a look at the flyers that we're handing in and try to share the page with your friends and let them know about the situation with my dear friend. And maybe donate some money if you can. And also, I know like everyone will say like, well, you know, we cannot change the world. It's only one person who cares. But you know what? We can change the world. Because by changing the world, we can start by changing something, by making something different. And you know what? Everyone can be the hero of that guy. So please, guys, take in consideration, take 1 minute from your life. Thank you.
We would like to hand out awards to recognize the most recent alumni of both organizations.
So, Polish Cultural Society will be going first. Well, first of all, we've already heard from Nagrobara. So if you could please come up and we will give you your award. And then second of all, we are also recognizing Lisa Wisniewski, who's in the audience right now. Lisa graduated from UConn in 2007, and then she continued on to get a master's at CCSU, and she's currently pursuing a doctorate of education at the University of Hartford. Last year, she was instrumental in organizing and running the Globalities Conference in Connecticut, which is an annual conference for university graduate students as well as young professionals in Polish descent. We would like to thank you for all your help and support. So, could you please don't come up and present you?
On behalf of the ASA, we ask that our most recent alumnus, Eddie Majari, come forward. Eddie was a member of ASA throughout his 4 years at UConn. He served as a treasurer during the 2011-2012 academic year, as a president last year. He's a 2013 graduate of the UConn Business School in Accounting and is currently working as a public assurance auditor at PricewaterhouseCoopers. We also ask that Ariel Cabilo come forward for this dedication to the ASA as a prominent member for 4 years. And they're not here today, but we would also like to recognize Ina Stambari and Diana Churi. We would also like to recognize them. Both Ina and Diana are members of the Albanian American Professionals of Connecticut, and they have been great help in starting our alumni mentoring program, still in its beginning stages. Thank you, Ina and Diana.
Okay, so at this time, we would like to honor the Sapp, who is our current secretary. And last but not least, we have Anna Knopka, who is our PR, so she's done a good job, so come on. We also would like to recognize Barbara Silva, who couldn't make it today, so we'll just all clap for her. She's doing a good job. Thank you.
On behalf of the ASA, John Chu, a dedicated member for the 2013-2014 academic year, Jürgen Dobra, a member for the past 2 years and this year's public relations chair, and he's not here today. Athena Laholi, a dedicated member for the past 2 years and this year's community outreach chair. And finally, we would like to call Chrisella Caraya, a member for the past 4 years, secretary for the spring 2011, fall 2012, and spring 2012 semesters, vice president for the 2013 academic year, and current president for the 2013-2014 academic year. And finally, the ASA has an annual scholarship that we issue to an incoming UConn freshman of Albanian descent for her dedication to academic excellence, proven leadership, community involvement, and commitment to the ASA. We are proud to present the scholarship in the amount of $500 to Marinela Majari. And the ASA would like to do something else now. Over the past couple of years, we've had a tradition of giving a present to our president. And so this year, the ASA would like to give something to Priscilla. Priscilla, can you come up?
Okay, so at this time, we would like members of both our clubs to come up for a group picture. And anyone else who would like to do an interview?